New York. In 1954, Harvey Slayton and his first wife, Yeffie Kimball, a well-regarded artist, exhibited at the National Gallery, moved into 11 Bank, a former rooming house. Despite hearing strange noises, especially heavy footsteps on the stairs when no one was present, they never spotted anyone. Kimball, an Osage Indian with spiritual beliefs, believed there was a ghost, but no apparition was ever seen. Renovations were initiated on the house. One day, as a carpenter was removing a ceiling, a can from a crematorium fell on his head. Startled, he exclaimed, "I think I found the body." Kimball felt vindicated and placed the can in a basket on the piano, establishing a friendship with the ghost she perceived. According to her description, the ghost was a plump, brown-haired, fun-loving individual. Harvey, being more scientifically inclined, contacted the crematorium. The death of Elizabeth Bullock at the age of 51 was confirmed, but Harvey could not gather further details. He then recalled an incident he had forgotten. Several months earlier, a man had visited, thinking the house was still a rooming house. He left his name and card upon learning it would become apartments in the future. Coincidentally, his name was Bullock, just like Elizabeth's. When Harvey attempted to find the card, it had mysteriously disappeared. Meyer Berger, a famous New York Times reporter and neighbor, paid a visit and wrote a story about it. This attracted the attention of Hans Holzer, an expert on ghosts, who arrived with his medium, Mrs. Myers. In a trance within half an hour, Mrs. Myers adopted an Irish accent and spoke as if she were Elizabeth Bullock, an Irish Catholic disowned by her family for marrying a Protestant. Out of Myers' mouth, Elizabeth said,
"He didn't want me in the family plot. I wasn't even married in their eyes, but I was married before God. Edward Bullock. I want a Christian burial in the shade of the cross, anywhere the cross is, but not with them."
Unfortunately, the request for a Christian burial was denied. Kimball strongly disagreed, as she enjoyed having the spirit in the house. Elizabeth, via Mrs. Myers, eventually conceded, admitting that she had grown fond of living there as well. The remains and Elizabeth remained in the house. Elizabeth made her presence known through peculiar occurrences. Her perfume would often be detected at parties, and when Kimball was away on lengthy trips, the bedroom closet doors would unexpectedly fly open 24 hours prior to her return, a sign that Harvey appreciated. Even after Kimball's passing and Harvey's remarriage, Elizabeth remained, although she briefly disappeared for 3 months after the birth of Harvey's child. Virginia. Ellen Glasgow, the renowned novelist and Pulitzer Prize winner, was laid to rest in Hollywood Cemetery, with her grave located next to the Confederate General J.E.B. Stuart. However, according to many beliefs, her spirit continues to reside in the Richmond home where she lived and wrote for over 50 years. After her passing, her home served as a university center and living quarters. Numerous students and scholars have experienced a sense of otherworldly presence within its walls. Some have reported hearing footsteps or the ringing of a long disconnected buzzer that Glasgow used to summon servants. In one remarkable encounter, a student resident claimed to have returned to the house one evening only to find the unmistakable apparition of Glasgow herself waiting for him on the landing of the staircase. This encounter frightened him to such an extent that he fled and never returned to retrieve his belongings. Glasgow herself wrote about her years spent alone in the house, stating that, "Ghosts were my only companions." She meant this statement quite literally, and detailed a chilling encounter with a malevolent force in her autobiography, The Woman Within. It appears that even in her eternal sleep, Glasgow remains the spirit residing within 1 West Main Street, where her typewriter's faint clacking can still be heard on occasion, echoing into the night. California. In the heart of Hollywood's Sunset Strip, there once stood a prestigious establishment known as Ciro's. This high-class joint offered top-notch entertainment and catered to the rich and famous, making it a bustling hotspot for successful individuals in the film industry, both in front of and behind the camera. However, beneath the glamorous surface of the place, a dark underbelly lurked. Among the frequent patrons of Ciro's was none other than Mickey Cohen, reputed to be the successor of Benjamin Bugsy Siegel. If people thought Bugsy was a formidable presence, Cohen surpassed him in intensity. It was said that he would extort money from the establishment on a weekly basis. Those unfortunate enough to cross his path would be taken to the basement, subjected to brutal beatings, and then encased in a layer of concrete. Now known as the Comedy Store, the location is believed to be haunted. There are accounts of at least 5 ghosts who have made their presence known by moving chairs, tampering with lights, and even appearing to startled employees and patrons. One particular comedian, Sam Kinison, had multiple encounters with these spirits. The ghosts seemed to harbor a strong dislike for him, going to great lengths to disrupt his performances. Eerie, spectral chants of, "It's him! It's him!" could be heard, accompanied by interference with the sound system and lights. One night, Sam grew so frustrated with the ghosts that he dared them to reveal themselves. In response, all the lights in the venue suddenly went out, plunging the entire place into darkness. Legend has it that no one dares venture into the basement, as a dark and malevolent presence is said to dwell there. Once, a security guard, prompted by a strange noise, decided to investigate the source. As he descended into the basement around 3 a.m., he was met with a chilling, bestial growl. To his astonishment, something forcefully struck the basement door from the other side, causing it to bow outward. Fearing the unknown, the guard wasted no time in retreating from the scene, leaving the mysterious entity behind.